What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday night. It's Super Bowl week, so I don't know how I'm going to survive these next 6 days, but I'm going to do my best. Man, gonna be crazy. I can't believe it's happening for real. Still,
It's real, man. It's real.
it's real.
It's
It's
real.
real. Yeah, I saw some people were posting they were down at the pep rally at Paul Brown Stadium tonight, and that was sold out for a pep rally.
Yeah.
Wow, they sold out.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I mean, sold out like within an hour. Like it was like 2 hours, maybe. Like it was sold out.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
It looked
Good.
awesome. So I guess it was on ESPN2 tonight. So I went ahead and I taped that. So because we're doing the bench mob tonight. And we got to get ready for the trade deadline on
Absolutely.
Thursday.
Here it is.
Shot
It's here.
callers did the trade deadline primer. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that's come out since then. And then shot callers will be back on Thursday night for you guys on Friday to do the trade deadline recap show. So we have you covered on the network this week. I am Tim Daniel, joined as always by my pal Sean Mackey. How are you, buddy?
What up, man? Dude.
Who day? So Ben, before we get to you, I got to mention yesterday, Sean and I took a pilgrimage up to Fairfield, Ohio, and went to this
Okay.
place called the Toy Department.
Okay.
And it was the scariest store I've ever been in my life. Not because it was haunting, not because it was a terrible store, because I very well, if I had empty credit cards, could have seen myself gone in there and maxed them all out with all the stuff that I had that they wanted. Managed to only buy 2 things.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm sure the wife was happy about that. Like
One of them was for her, so yes.
there you go. There you
yeah.
go.
He got something to soften the blow for those the $90 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures that he purchased.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, good. Hey, good thing that you got her something. You know, cover that up. You know.
Yeah, she was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay." She was
Yeah,
pretty
you know.
excited, so I was pretty happy
Yeah,
about that. Right.
absolutely.
Yeah. So as you hear the voice there, our other guy, my man, 100 gram, Mr. Ben Brown. How are you, buddy?
Buddy, I am great and ready to go. We got the trade deadline coming up. We've got some teams getting hot, some teams getting cold, and it'll be good to talk about some things that are going on here in the NBA. The Pacers still suck, and the Lakers maybe getting better, but they still suck too.
Yes, that's right. I love how our new weekly gag, like our Muppets running gag, is just a dog on the Lakers at least one point during the show. It could be for like 12 seconds. It could be for 12 minutes. You just never know.
I can't even tell you how long I laughed when you sent that text to me. Oh, like Russell Westbrook is the league's Lex Luger. I'm like, that's legit. That's legit.
Sean's not in that text bubble.
Yeah.
So I said what I said, Sean, was we talked about how Westbrook is making $44.5 million and can't play in crunch time. So I said he's the he's the NBA's version of WCW Lex Luger. You'll put him in the main event, but he's not going to deliver.
Yep,
he's not going to deliver. Tons of botches.
Yeah, I got the reference before we even had to explain it.
Yeah. When you can get a compilation of missed bank shots, like you're not having a good season.
No.
And that's why I sent that text. I'm like, you know, not to start off the tangent on the Lakers, but like, when at one point does he become a bench guy? Like at some point you gotta be like, we gotta have somebody better over here, right?
They don't.
Well, comparable.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Their best thing is Anthony Davis is playing well since he came back from injury.
Yeah.
That's their best hope.
But you know, street clothes. He's just one little bad bump away from being out another 15 games.
Okay. I'm glad you said this
Not
because
lying.
I was thinking about this the other day.
Mm-hmm.
We're at this point now where, like, you know, rightfully so, he gets picked on for being injured. Do we realize the last 2 years he's played more games than Kevin Durant?
Oh, I would agree with that. I'm not saying Kevin Durant's durable. The only thing that saves Kevin Durant is that I feel like he's been covered up by the Golden State thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like he had Steph, he had Clay, he had Draymond. So he really didn't have to do as much. The Lakers really need Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like when he's hurt with the Nets now, but you still get Kyrie some, you still got James Harden some, you know, like they kind of cover it up. I'm not saying that Kevin Durant's durable either, but the need for Anthony Davis to be in that lineup every day is so drastic that it makes the loss that much more. And it wouldn't be as bad if Russell Westbrook wasn't so terrible. If Russell Westbrook was playing like Russell Westbrook of 3 years ago, and you had LeBron and they were comparable and they could do different things, you'd be like, oh, Anthony Davis can go out 10 games and we'll be all right. But now that he's so bad, you see a 37-year-old LeBron, going out and get triple-double. That guy came off a knee injury 5 games out and had a triple-double last night.
Malik Monk, 29 points.
29 points. I think it would be different if Anthony Davis had more coverage, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was just kind of pointing out because we're at this point now where like Chris Paul, we always knock on him for being injury prone. Anthony Davis, Derrick Rose. It's like, why don't we ever talk about this with Kevin Durant? Like no one ever mentions like, well, he's injury prone. I'm like, he missed a whole year.
He missed a whole year, but he tore his Achilles, man. That's like a really
I get it.
bad injury. Like I feel like Anthony Davis is just like lingering injuries that happen all the time, where it's like Durant was taken out for like something that was legit,
Kawhi, Paul George.
Kawhi. Yeah.
Basically everyone that's not Giannis.
I will go in on Kawhi any day about being injury prone or mysteriously injury prone or not being like, what's even going on anymore with the Clippers? Like, I don't even know. Is Paul George getting surgery? Is that happening?
I think that's the discussion right now.
Yeah,
but
on the elbow, I believe.
Yeah,
I think he was due at MRI the other day.
Yes,
I do like the trade they made. Getting Gary Trent, that's awesome.
Yep.
Imagine being the point guard of the Clippers for a couple of years if you get Kawhi and Paul George to magically play again with those three.
Yeah.
Also, can we quit doing this thing where Kawhi's in public and people just so happen to like pan a camera on him real quick? He's always ducking away. We know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Kawhi, we're on to you. We're on to you.
Kawhi is not new to this. Like this is his life story. He does that in life. You know what I mean? Hey, Kawhi's going to the store. He's like, oh, somebody saw me. He takes off. Like that's just Kawhi Leonard. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So now that we're 7 minutes into the show and we haven't talked about our segments yet, let's go ahead and get to the top. Getting you ready for the trade deadline. So yesterday we had our second trade, I guess, in the past few days come through. And Ben, I had to get your thoughts on this as a Pacers fan. As Caris LeVert has been traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Ricky Rubio's expiring contract. The Cavaliers lottery protect their first round pick this year and 2 second-rounders. So, you get an expiring. By everything this conversation is saying is Ricky Rubio is planning to sign back with the Cavs next season, which why wouldn't he? Right. You get 4 picks out of it. Mm-hmm. And the 3-way trade that the Pacers made with the Cavaliers and the Nets and the James Harden trade that split up Jared Allen and Caris LeVert, they are now back together. So
back together. Yep.
What do you think about all this, man? I like this trade a lot for Cleveland.
I like it a ton. I like it for both sides. One, we're like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we're bad. So why not go ahead, cut your losses? I'm sure they're probably going to move Sabonis at some point before the trade deadline. I know that's later on in the show, but I know they're going to probably move him. Carlisle's going to want to get his guys. What better way to get your guys with having some assets and picks where you can either trade for people that you want or be able to get guys in the draft that you want, so you're able to do that. And for the Cavaliers, of course, which I've watched them the last couple of nights, man, they are really good. Mm-hmm. They are a really, really good basketball team. And you added Caris LeVert to that, a guy that can score the basketball and a guy that, when healthy, plays a pretty good amount of defense. You add that to that mix. And like we were talking about before, the Cavs feel like they can win now, which is dangerous because they do have, you do have a good mix of young players. You add a young Caris LeVert who can score. You've got, all kinds of young talent there. And you've got veterans like Osman. You got Rondo, who's actually playing pretty well. You got Kevin Love, who's starting to play like Kevin Love. And then you got the young guys. You got Garland, who's an all-star. You got Mobley, who should have been an all-star. You got Jared Allen, who should have been an all-star.
Jared Allen
I
should
mean,
1,000% be an all-star.
yeah. So
100%.
I mean, so you got all this talent, and freaking it was a JB Bickerstaff is doing an amazing job with those guys. And watching them play, I mean, they came back from 20 points on my Pacers last night, which I had to watch that debacle. But watching them play though, like it's Josh, he's not here tonight, but he brought up a good point. Like they move the ball well, they find good shots, they play well with bigs on the floor. And that's huge when you can go size and your bigs aren't mismatches on a whole lot of spots defensively. So you can play a Mobley and a Love and an Allen together, and it doesn't look clunky, if that makes sense. So I love that. I love that trade for them. They get another shooter, another scorer to go along with the bigs they have. And I love it for the Pacers because you get assets and picks. You move a guy that you're on a fledgling team that's not going to do well this year. Why not gain assets? Hopefully they do the same thing with Sabonis and gain some more assets and make some moves and make it a better situation for everybody in Pacers land.
I feel like this is a extremely low risk, high reward trade for Cleveland right now.
Mm-hmm.
Getting rid of Ricky Rubio is expiring when he's out for the season. He's probably going to come back next year, which is awesome, because he was doing so well before he got hurt anyway. But lottery protected pick, whatever, and then two second rounders, whatever, that's fine. So the Pacers were able to get some sort of assets out of Caris LeVert. Now, the only thing about Caris LeVert that always kind of scares me about him is he's injury prone. Quite
right.
However, if I'm Cleveland, I'm taking a flyer on a guy like that who's produced well, lately. So I think he's going to fit into this team very well. He's going to be another scoring option. And they're just adding more weapons. And this win now thing, the East is wide open, man. Like,
it is.
Especially with the Nets really, really, really sucking ass lately and not getting anything together and all these weird rumors about James Harden. We're going to, we'll talk about trading him. We're not going to trade him, whatever. Nobody cares anymore. But I don't care anymore. But
John, it's 7:45. It's not even late night.
Late night, Sean. Late night, Sean.
But, the only legitimate true threat now, I mean, obviously, what I would say it would be the Bucks at this point. Like, I think the Bucks are just pretty scary. But in the Bulls, you've got so many injuries right now that, like, if I'm Cleveland, I'm not worrying about them either. So, this is a huge trade for them. And also, I think it's great for Indy just to go ahead and just cut their losses right now at the end of this year, cash out and start the rebuild over once again. But, they can get rid of Sabonis later this week. I think that would be great. They're just going to go all in on the tank. And there's no shame in that this year.
No, I agree. A lot of good moves to make. I think that, you're going to get off that Ricky Rubio contract. So you can kind of get, like I said, restart. It's gonna be the first time that the Pacers have picked in the top 10 since Reggie Miller.
Yep, 1980. I want to say 87. Yeah, 86, 87. Something like that.
Yeah, to put in context, like that's pretty crazy.
Long time.
Yeah, shows you how consistent they've been forever. But yeah, like Ben said, Sabonis looks like he's going to be potentially on the move, which we'll get to that a little later in the show. Miles Turner's obviously being shopped for discussion as well. Basically, Malcolm Brogdon has to be there. There's no trade that he can be moved this season, as Joe from Shot Callers has explained a few times in their shows this year. But other than that, I think it's kind of fair game, except for like Lance and Duarte and Brogdon.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, those three, they're there. Yep, they're there.
Well, good, man. So let's kind of go real quick. Let's talk about some of the potential discussions of things that have come out. And one name that's been gaining a lot of traction the past few days, finally, just splitting up and cutting your losses and moving on, is Blazers guard Cj Mccollum. So this is from Jeremy Brenner of Blazers Edge. He has said the Hawks, Pelicans, and Knicks have all expressed interest in McCollum. And here are the offers that he put in his article on Blazers Edge. So kind of want to get some thoughts into. The first one is to the Knicks, where the Knicks get McCollum and the Trailblazers would get Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker, and a 2022 lottery protected first round pick. The Pelicans deal was discussed, where they would get Tomas Satoransky, Josh Hart, Jackson Hayes, and a 2022 second rounder that's the Kings own. And then there's the Hawks, where you would get Danilo Gallinari, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and a 2022 lottery protected pick that's the Charlotte Hornets for this year, which the Charlotte Hornets really kind of look like they're going to make the playoffs. So between these three, obviously I'm sure there's more that are going to pop up over the next few days. Do you like any of those trades particularly? Because here's what, when I look at these, I can't figure out anymore if CJ McCollum's overrated or underrated. Because two of those three offers, I'm like, that's not too much. And then the other one, I'm like, that's a lot. So I don't know where I'm at with who he is anymore.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is what is the value of CJ McCollum? You know what I mean? He is a good player. I think, the injuries have kind of hurt him this year, of course, and the fact that Portland's not very good. But, of course, looking at those, the Knicks offer to me looks like the best one. I mean, as far as both people getting what they need, I think the Knicks need another scorer, another consistent scorer. CJ McCollum can do that. You're giving up a protected first round. Fournier, who actually has been playing really well for the Knicks, which would be a tough loss. And Kemba, like we've documented before, he's been so up and down in the season. I don't know where his fit is going to be in the future as far as with the Knicks. So I like that Knicks. I kind of like the Knicks deal better than the other two personally, but that's just me.
I think the Knicks deal is the best deal in terms of assets for Portland, but I actually, for some reason, I don't know why, if we're talking about for another team, getting the advantage, I feel like Atlanta getting him would be big for them. In that regard, McCollum should have been traded 2 or 3 years ago. Let's just go ahead and say it. It should have happened.
Mm-hmm.
He has been in trade rumors for the last 5 years, and I am so sick of it. And we waited. The Portland Trail Blazers are one of the most stubborn fucking teams in the NBA. They don't ever want to break anybody up, and now you're right here at this weird crossroads time, and what are they even doing? How? I don't really know. No,
Ask the questions everybody want to know, Sean. Ask the questions everybody want to know. What are they doing? That's exactly what everybody in America is thinking right now. What are they doing? That's exactly.
Well, it's just every year, it's like they keep throwing the same team out on the, and they had one good season where they made it pretty far in the playoffs. So they make it to the Western Conference Finals one year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got swept.
And they got swept. Okay. Cool. All right. So that was the pinnacle of this team's achievements, and your two big guys getting as far as they're gonna go. So he's 30 years old now. So the value wasn't there. They could have made a move. I don't understand not being aggressive when you have a talent like Damian Lillard. And I don't understand why a team like the Portland Trail Blazers, how they feel like they can afford not to go all in on anything. They're not a major market. There's no reason for them not to just be like, let's build around Dame. Let's try something else. I mean, at least Sam Presti was trading people every couple of freaking months a few years ago. He was like, oh, this didn't work. Let's trade somebody. Oh, let's get some draft picks. Oh, let's trade somebody else. It doesn't matter.
Not standing pat.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it.
At least he did something. Just do it. I'm not thrilled. But if Atlanta got him, I think that would be good for Atlanta.
Well,
because they got Gallinari and him going to he's got a little while. He's not really going to help him. He's going to get hurt, and he's going to leave someplace else. It's going to be everything. So,
very true. Very true statement.
I caught like
I don't.
half of your vent.
Hey, your rage made you go into the Matrix at one point. Like it was just. You're like, let him go. He's hot.
Yeah, he's on a roll. Did we give up when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? The Germans?
Right, you know what I'm
He's on a roll. I'm not saying you're wrong by any means because I fully agree. I first off, Dame Lillard should have left forever ago.
Yeah, that's the one I don't get. Like,
Yeah.
like I get loyalty, I
Just get
understand
out.
loyalty, but at some point, like you got to look up and say, man, I'm not going to win here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to win here.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna have to hold his hand like they did with Kevin Garnett and be like, "You leave. You need to go now."
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to leave here. Like
Get
it's
out.
time.
Right, get out.
Yeah, because I know they said McCollum, and then Yusuf Nurkic has been mentioned a lot for trades as well. Mose from The Office, as he looks, as Jackie McMullen said today on the Bill Simmons podcast, and I couldn't
You
unpicture.
dropped the Mose, did she?
Yeah, literally called him. She said he
Love it.
looks just like Mose from The Office, and like
Love
now
it.
I'll never not see it when I look at him.
I love it. Mose.
Yeah. So I guess talking about Jackie McMullen, look at that segue here to the Boston Celtics, who now also look like they're trying to make some moves as well. Looks like they have been discussing Dennis Schroeder and Marcus Smart being on the trading block. So some of the teams have been mentioned for Marcus Smart: Minnesota, Atlanta, and Dallas. And then for Dennis Schroeder, Milwaukee and Chicago. So looking at these two for the situation here.
Look at Sean's face.
Believe me.
That was awesome.
I will say I absolutely love the Marcus Smart Minnesota fit. I think it's really cool. I think it'd be really good. He'd be like the ultimate, like he'd be the physical guy they need.
Listen, him and Pat Beverly can't be on the same team. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. That would be them guys would fist fight every practice. Fist fight.
Well,
they're the
yeah,
same person.
Marcus Smart would be like, I wanted to do this in Boston for so damn long.
Right.
But yeah, so Dallas makes a lot of sense as far as like needing a defensive guard for him. Atlanta's whatever. I don't really see like what his fit is there, especially with Trae Young and DeAndre Hunter and those guys. Schroeder, I get the Bucks. Just getting a backup point guard to go in there. The Bulls thing doesn't make sense to me. I understand Lonzo and Caruso are hurt, but they're going to be back. And, I think you got to be I don't think you want to cut into Ayo Dosunmu's minutes right now with how well he's played and that, filling in for being really the starting point guard for stretches of the season with all the injuries they've had. So, I don't want the Bulls to get Dennis Schroeder just because one, he's one of my least favorite players in the league. And the other, I just don't understand, when it comes to playoff time, if Lonzo and Caruso are back, what purpose does he serve?
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you on that. And you brought up a really good point, Tim. Let your young guard play. You don't want to bring a guy like Schroeder in to take minutes from a guy that's getting on the job training. When is Lonzo set to be back? Do you know?
It was 6 to 8 weeks from his injury, so we're probably at week 3 now.
Okay, so you're getting back in 3 to 4 weeks, probably. Then you'll get Caruso back right or probably about the same time, right? Right around there. So, yeah. I agree with you. Schroeder, I don't think Schroeder does. I mean, I don't have the hatred for him that you have, but I don't think he there's a benefit to bringing him in, honestly, for the Bulls.
Here comes another Sean rant.
This is all smoke. This is smoke. This is all smoke. No one's really gonna trade for Dennis Schroeder. This isn't a real trade. This is some bullshit someone's making a trade for him. There's no. It's.
You don't think so?
I don't know
Nothing
why I'm talking about it. No. What are you gonna trade Kobe White for him?
Well, I don't. No, I don't.
No, never.
like, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's like the only thing they need to be after is they don't have a big. They have no power forward. Power forward 6'6".
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that's where they're talking about Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, because we just like to rob the Spurs of players and get nothing back nowadays. Give them nothing in return, and it's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. If the Spurs buy out Thad Young, which has been talked about a lot, I am 1,000% for the Bulls signing him back. 1,000%.
Yeah. I like Thad Young. He's always been a consistent player. I think that he would help you all immensely.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
I think someone's going to trade for Schroeder. I'm not where Sean's at. I don't love him by any means, but in a situation where he's a free agent, it's an expiring contract, he fumbled the bag with the Lakers. We've all made the jokes. We've all seen the jokes, and they're very true.
I guarantee you the Lakers wish they would add him over Westbrook right now.
I don't think so. I think as bad as Westbrook's been, as bad as Westbrook's been, I don't think Dennis Schroeder would be playing better for them, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, granted, I think he would do better than 5 points on 2 for 9 shooting, but I don't think so, man. The contract, absolutely. The $34 million in difference, yes, but I don't know, man. I think like Sean talked about, like where we're at right now with all these teams. Like Sean talked about, like how Portland's so stubborn, and he's 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Washington's that way. Because it's like, well, we got to build around Bradley Beal. It's got to be around Bradley Beal. And it's like, I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, Bradley Beal sucked this year. Like, he has not been good at all.
Yeah.
And like, they're, I listened to when he was on Woj, and he's like, you've become a better playmaker. It's like, yeah, he passes now because he can't fucking score.
Yeah.
Like, he shoots like it's not been a very good Bradley Beal year.
No, it hasn't. You're right.
And they're like, well, we have Montrez and KCP. So like Montrezl Harrell might be a Pacer by the end of this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this or not. That could happen.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that rumor.
Denny Avdia might be a Pacer this week.
Mm-hmm. Bring them on. Bring them all on.
You just gonna be riding that train all the way to the tank.
Yep, we're gonna ride that doo-doo train to the tank, baby. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. So the talk this week has been Domantas Sabonis has been linked to the Wizards, and I think one of the trade offers I saw was like kind of ridiculous. Honestly, I was like, I like Sabonis. I mean, obviously he's an all-star for a reason, but there were some of the things where it's like, I don't know about this one. So I was kind of like taking a step back when it was like Montrezl Harrell, Denny Avdia, a first-round pick, and I was like, damn, like I know he's good, but
yeah. Here's my thing about one, I hate that it's the Wizards. Like we said, like you're gonna bring in Sabonis in and do what?
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do? Get in the playing game. You're out of the playing game. You're what place is Washington in right now?
Let me check. I think they're in like 10th. Let me just triple check that. But yeah, they got the last 3 months of Russell Westbrook being a good basketball player. So kudos.
Yeah.
They're 11th. They're not even in the play-in right now.
They're not in the playing game.
Yeah.
So what is the point of them? You're making a move and you're going to lose draft picks. So now you got Bradley Beal and Sabonis and KCP and Kuzma and they're like Portland. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing with your roster? Is that trade going to make you a playoff contender? Is that trade going to make you in the Eastern Conference Finals? Is that trade going to do any other positives besides the fact that everybody like, hey, we got an all-star in Sabonis? Well, that's great. What else do you have? You have no real other aspects or assets. Like I
really?
don't know what right. Yeah. Yeah. I do like him. But in the grand scheme of it, they're the Portland of the East. Like what are they doing? The roster's still clunky. You're still trying to build off Bradley Beal, who, like you said, Tim, has had a terrible season. Their team's in the 11th place. Like you're not really building anything by making that trade besides putting Sabonis on from one bad team to another bad team.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So let me ask you about. Yeah, but let me ask you about this because this popped up in my group text the other day with Joe and Kyle, because obviously, you know, the big talk around the Pacers has been they're looking to move Sabonis and Turner and kind of move forward, rebuild finally, which kudos, it took them this long to get into a rebuild. Like their rebuilding years, they were still like the 7 and 8 seed in the playoffs. So like you got to respect that.
Right.
The Charlotte Hornets have popped up as a team needing a big.
Yeah.
What do you think about, and this is literally the trade Kyle sent me, so I'm reading this off because I actually really liked it. But I shouldn't say that because I shouldn't influence your decision. How you feel about this? Okay. What do you think about trading Miles Turner to Charlotte? And in return, you get PJ Washington, James Bouknight, and Mason Plumlee.
Like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. Yeah, absolutely.
I do too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love James Bouknight on the Pacers. I wanted you guys to get him last year, but Duarte dropped to you. So it was like, I totally am not against drafting Chris Duarte by any means. So, but yeah, I was like,
I like that trade a lot.
I did too.
You know where I want him to go?
I like it for Charlotte, but I like it for Charlotte too. I mean, that's a great fit for Charlotte.
Yeah, that's a fantastic fit for Charlotte's team, and they need a big right now. But another team I think would be really cool to see him at, Minnesota.
Him next to Cat, that's been talked about.
Yeah. Like you throw in like Malik Beasley, or who's one of the like over there, Josh Okogie, yeah. Okogie, yeah. Like you trade that, couple draft picks, you do that. You're not really giving up too much, and you get something like, I don't know. I just feel like the Pacers should really, really be getting some decent ass. I honestly like the Hornets trade more. That's a really good trade, and I'm surprised that one hasn't been talked about because they need a big. But man, they need to make sure they're getting like serious assets back for him because he's an all-star, and he plays well. He's given my Bulls hell a few times, and I think he's in his prime, man. He's 25 right now, so it's like, I don't know if he's topped out where he's going to be at, but if we could get him on a team that's actually going to make the playoffs and he can actually contribute and give value to the team and to him later on and get a bigger contract or something, I think that would be great. So
I agree. I agree for sure.
I'm with it. And this one's been talked about forever, so we'll just kind of real quick. James Harden for Ben Simmons has been discussed a lot. It was mentioned on Friday that that Philadelphia was going to pursue this, and then it comes out today that they have not talked to the Nets about it. They asked Steve Nash, will you be trading James Harden?
Hell no! What are you talking about?
Yes. And in a vacuum, Ben Simmons on the Nets is awesome. Totally awesome. In a vacuum.
Yeah.
That vacuum is...
This trade could have happened 2 or 3 years ago. Why is it? They're like, well, we were just kidding before. Like, how about we go ahead and trade? And there's so much smoke. There's so much smoke coming from.
It feels like the Zach LaVine, Jimmy Butler trade. Remember, for like a year, we were hearing that was going to happen.
It took a full year for them to make that deal, and they did it on draft nights. We were like, all right, finally, we got it.
They were even like, because it was the draft before, it was like, there's this discussion that the Wolves are going to trade the pick that was Chris Dunn and Zach LaVine for Jimmy Butler. And we're like, yeah, okay. And then the next year, they're like, the Bulls and Timberwolves have made a deal for Jimmy Butler for Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn.
Yeah. The Bulls always do that shit, though. They're always telegraphing stuff a year like, oh, we're going to sign Lonzo Ball like a year before it happens. Everything that you want to know what the Bulls are going to do, you will find out one full year, 365 days before it actually needs to happen. And it's like, I'm not surprised.
Like Mark Eversley and Arturas Karnisovas have been incredible for the Bulls. They have been awesome. But I feel like Michael Ryan's sort of still there like, going up to people and being like, "Hey, what do you think about us drafting Wendell Moore from Duke?" You know, Wendell Moore, he plays at Duke. He's a junior. We really like him. Just so you know, we really like him. You're like, all right, yeah, we get it. We get it. We get it, Mike. We get it. He's still like the guy that's like, goes to the reporter and is like, tell him I'm sources. Sources say the Chicago Bulls have interest in Duke forward Wendell Moore.
Tell him I'm sources. Tell him I'm sources.
So, yes, that's what, yes, like Sean said, this has been talked about forever now. I think it's pretty well, everyone that's like, where is this coming from? I don't understand. It's like, well, Kevin Durant's hurt. Kyrie Irving only plays part-time. You guys brought in Blake Griffin to be your starting center. Like, maybe your team actually sucks. I don't know. Maybe I've been saying this because I looked at your roster and everyone's like, oh no, they have those three. They'll be fine. Like, what if they get home court advantage? You don't have Kyrie Irving for 4 of 7 games. How awesome are you at that point? They're
Pretty
not.
mediocre.
They're not. They're like, fuck, we got Blake Griffin and DeAndre Bembry, guys. We're going to be fine.
Kyrie shouldn't even be allowed to play at this point. Like this, it's a mockery of the whole league being able to let him go out there and do whatever the hell he wants, whenever he wants. You know, guys, I think I'm gonna take off next week. Like I got a thing,
Yeah.
Like I don't know. But anyways, that's the point. But this trade's not gonna happen. You know why? Because it never happens.
It's not going to happen now, but in July.
Yeah, but
July will be a sign and trade.
Ben Simmons is not going to play this season. And that is just wild to me. It is just wild that we're at a point where Ben Simmons has not played at all. Kyrie plays a couple games a month. And Kevin Durant's hurt. And on top of that, Brooklyn's like, well, maybe we'll hold on to James Harden and blah, 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 blah. It's like, you're not going to get anywhere with this team. You made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year on just pure talent alone. You made it there.
Conference semis.
Made it to the semis. Yeah, they didn't even make it to the finals.
Semis. I'm sorry. Yeah, so it's like, you made it that far last year. They're not going to do that this year. They don't have the talent surrounding him, and they're just not hungry enough either. So they're not just going to sleepwalk in this year. It's not going to happen. Everyone's playing harder. Like, I'd put money on Cleveland beating them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, like you look at rosters, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if you look at Cleveland's roster, you look at the Bucks roster, you look at the Bulls roster when healthy. Just those 3 teams alone are better than the Nets roster.
The Sixers?
The Sixers roster.
Sixers are fantastic. Yeah.
The Heat? We didn't talk about the Heat. They're number 1 right now.
We haven't even talked about the Heat. Yeah, what are we doing?
I mean, there are 5 or 6 teams with rosters better than the Nets.
Yeah. They just happen to have Kevin Durant and James Harden.
Yep.
Here's what I'll say. I'm with you. I don't think this trade happens. But if it were to happen, go ahead and book the parade in Philly because James Harden, Joel Embiid are going to be incredible together with Tyrese Maxey. Book the parade because no one's beating them.
Yeah, but there's no way that they're not gonna want Tyrese Maxey back. Like
apparently like that's been the conversation. It's been like, look, we're not giving you guys Tyrese Maxey in this trade, and that's the holdup.
Yeah, I know, but like, I don't know. I don't. If I'm the Nets, I'm not taking just Ben Simmons for James Harden. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna go, but I just know it won't happen until like September.
Also, none of us care anymore.
What about Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris?
That's been talked about quite a bit.
I saw that too.
Yeah. So I think we're at this point before we get into our bench gods. Any team that we've talked about, like that has been talked about for like weeks now, like does any team actually make a trade? Does Julius Randle get traded? I don't think so. Does De'Aaron Fox get traded? I don't think so. I don't think any trade really happens that like we're like, like Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis, I think will be shopped. I think Sabonis will be traded.
I think Buddy Hield will get moved somewhere.
He better because I'm sick of hearing that one too.
Yeah, I think he will. I know they say that every year, but I think they'll pull the trigger.
I think the Knicks make a big move too.
Yeah.
I don't know if anything's going to be like needle moving, though.
No.
Yeah, like
There's just not I mean, outside of Sabonis, there's just not enough big needles out there to move. You know what I mean? Like, unless they
Right.
really do pull the trigger on the Harden trade, which I don't see that happening. But
I kind of suspect the Suns are going to pull off some trade that we're going to go, how did you get that guy? And we're
Yeah.
going to be like, and then we're like, all right, cool. So like at the moment, I know what I just said about if the Sixers were to get James Harden, but at the moment, I feel like the Suns are the most complete team in basketball. I think they're going to win the title.
yeah,
Yeah.
Suns are legit.
Yeah.
Which leads us to my bench god to start this, our final segment. I went with Cam Johnson of said Phoenix Suns.
Very nice.
The last 10 games, my man has shot 48% from three. Oh my God. You know how hard that is to do? Like,
Yeah.
even in an empty gym, like you're going to miss some. Like, holy mackerel. He's been awesome. Just became another, stretch the floor guy for them. Him and Cameron Payne and Bismack Biyombo weirdly have been killing it in the Suns' second unit. They're playing the Bulls tonight. I have not looked at the score. I'm going to have a feeling I'm not going to want to with all the Bulls injuries. That's okay. But yeah, Cam Johnson's been awesome. I've really enjoyed what he's done this year. So kudos to him. And the Suns, who we keep talking about every week, are just incredible. Sean went with Malik Beasley, who's come a long way since Larsa Pippen.
Yeah,
Come on.
He's had a good week, man. The Wolves, man, they're getting right in the playoff race right now.
They are.
They're getting production. This is why they should go all in for Sabonis. Go ahead.
I think they're making a move. I really think they're making a move.
They should make a move. They should make a move.
So what pieces can they move without affecting that chemistry?
I think they have some decent bench guys that they can move.
Okay.
They could move him.
Yeah, Malik Beasley very well could be moved.
Yeah, you could move him. You could do it. I mean, he's got trade value right now. I mean,
he shot 52% from three the last 4 games.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, pretty awesome. And Ben went with good old Trey Lyles of the Pistons.
Yeah, man. The Pistons are terrible, like my Pacers. But they've got some young talent, man. I do like some
intentionally terrible.
Yeah, they are. But I do like a lot of their guys. And one that stuck out the last 10 games is Trey Lyles. He's shooting 48% from the field, 41% from three, and 80% from the line. And is averaging almost 13 in the last 10 games. So he's playing well for a team that, of course, like we said, is intentionally bad. But he's playing well along with, I feel like Cade Cunningham's kind of stepping up and playing better, getting used to the league. So I like Trey Lyles a lot. I liked him when he was in Utah. He didn't get a shot. I liked him at Kentucky. And he's getting an opportunity to play more, and he's doing some pretty good things.
That's one we haven't talked about. I do think, as far as the Pistons, I do think Jeremy Grant gets traded. I just don't know where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't sound like it's going to be the Bulls. I think the Bulls are standing pat that Pat Williams will be a Bull at the end of the week. And I'm 1,000% okay with that.
Yep, I am too.
Yeah. But it's going to be a fun week. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of rumors and stuff. Maybe if something crazy does happen, I actually have a free week of college basketball games till Friday. So maybe we can pop on here and do an emergency. Something insane happens before the deadline on Thursday. But if not, Kyle and Joe and Shot College have everything covered for you guys to go up Friday morning. So you guys can kind of get the recaps there as well. But we're excited. It's a great trade deadline week. There's a lot of smoke. Let's see if we can track that smoke to any fire. Doesn't seem promising at the moment, but who knows? On behalf of Ben and Sean, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please take a second to give us a nice solid 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and/or Spotify, whichever.
Either one is delicious.
Yeah, it goes a long way for us. We'd be very grateful. But yeah, thank you all so much. Have a good night, and stay tuned for Shot Callers later this week when they recap the trade deadline.